Hello, my name is Tiffany. Welcome back to my channel. I am going to be, today I'm going to be sharing with you all my interview experience that I had just had. So I figured it'd be a good idea to kind of show like the whole process that I did. So the whole thing was like 2 months long or so. So I decided to insert some clips and so that y'all can kind of see that whole process. So I mainly just wanted to come on here and say, hey, stay tuned to see the video before the phone interview took place. And then I also have a video after the interview, and then I have one after the in-person interview as well. And then I will come back and let y'all know of the result. Today I have a phone interview for a development or software developer entry-level position. And I'm nervous. I found out about this position from my Coding Dojo network, and so they posted it and they were like, well, they didn't post it, they just gave out the recruiter's info and said to apply for the position. And I applied for the position and reached out to the recruiter because I had her email address. So I reached out to the recruiter like 2 days after I applied. I did all this in December, like the end of December, or like mid-December, whenever it was. And then I didn't hear anything, but I saw the position was still posted. I kept going back, checking back. And then I saw the position was still there, so I was like, okay, they probably just hadn't got around to it yet. And then like the end of the second week of January, I heard back, and they said they wanted to schedule a interview and a phone interview, and I go, dun dun dun. So that's interesting. I don't know, I get nervous when applying to corporations. I did a lot of research for this interview, like questions they would ask, and so that I could be better prepared, because I mean, I do that for every interview I go on. I try to see if there's any questions that anybody else has run across that I could possibly try to find the answers to, so that I could strive to do better in the interview. Like interview questions, I have like a section of where people that went through the interview process, and then they added their review on what they thought about the interview process. And I narrowed it down. At first I was just looking through all of them, and then I said, this is going to be too many. I just really need the ones that have anything to do with software development, or a developer, or object-oriented programming, or anything like that. So I searched those keywords and was able to compile a list of questions. So I had my interview already, and honestly, that's all I gotta say about that. I thought I did pretty well on the behavioral questions. I had one where I know I didn't answer it properly, but I could not think of an actual answer off the top of my head, so I kind of panicked a bit, and then I said something. I told a story, so that's always a good thing. But I don't think it was the proper story that she was looking for, but it's okay. I did my best. I did my best with what I had. The interview didn't last as long as I thought it was going to, which always to me is a nervous sign. It's like, it's like, I don't know. So, but I don't know, we'll see. I'm not gonna, I don't know the answers. In 2 weeks, I should hear something. So, it's like the waiting game. Dun, 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 dun. So I'll figure that out then, and I'll update y'all accordingly. Right now, I am organizing my thank you note on to send. my thank you note that I'm going to send out. All right. Hey, party people. I'll be honest with you. I just got done with a interview, and it was at a big corporation. I'll say that much. And I think I failed. So honestly, it was over object-oriented programming stuff, and I didn't do very well on those questions, and like I literally was kind of like, I've heard of these concepts, I've heard of them before, but I cannot reiterate what they are. And I know, because they mentioned they're looking for someone who knows like the general concepts, and the most general knowledge of OOP that I know is based on classes and methods and inheritance and things like, you know, coupling, and what other stuff was I asked? There's a whole bunch of other things that I was asked, and I didn't know them, and I even asked what tests that I use in Ruby on Rails, and I totally flaked because I couldn't remember, because I didn't study that information. So let my mistake be a lesson to all of y'all. Go back on when you have an interview, and even in life, like if you're just going throughout your day, go back to your old assignments, go back to the things that you've done, and find information that can help you during your interview. What I mean is, go through and be like, okay, I used this sort of testing, and just go through and find, you know, that information, and make sure that you know that for your interview. Like, for real, I'm not even playing. Let it be, let my mistake of life be a lesson to all of y'all that are listening to me. Go back and do that. And here's the thing, I know that in my mind, like, oh, I know I'm supposed to do that, but I didn't do that. Why didn't I do that? It slipped my mind. I wouldn't even think about Ruby on Rails, but a question came up to do with testing, and testing in Ruby on Rails was like the only thing I've done thus far. So it was one of those situations where I'm like, I don't really know what kind of testing was used, because I don't remember that far back. Let's be honest, we don't remember things that we did yesterday, okay? Just keeping it real. I don't know what I did yesterday. I can't tell you everything that I did yesterday. That's not possible. Just like I can't tell you everything that I've learned last year. I learned so much last year, it's crazy. And so my point is, go back, refresh yourself, make yourself understanding of those concepts. I know you can't push everything inside of your head for one interview, but in due time, you can go through that process and try to figure out, you know, the information that was used in old projects, so that you could feel more confident about yourself, okay? I want you guys to feel more confident than I feel right now. So, yeah, do that, and I'm gonna go to the store. And yeah, I'll keep y'all updated on how the situation goes with this job, but I'm pretty sure fail. So as you've seen, pretty interesting process. A lot of it, since it was a corporation, it was more behavioral based interview questions. So just keep that in mind if you are applying to like corporations and things like that. Make sure that you study up on your behavioral interview questions as well as your technical questions. Valuable lesson learned from that in-person interview. And I really don't know if it was something that I would have been, or I could have known before. I really don't know if it was something that I would have known before to know for the interview, but it's one of those things where I definitely know now. So yeah, so let's get into some results. I got the result a week and a day after I had the in-person interview, and so unfortunately it was not good news. It was bad news. They chose to pursue other candidates, and I figured that was happening. I honestly, if you saw my last clip about the in-person interview, I wasn't really thinking it was going to go in my direction or in my favor anyway. But still, it was a good experience to have. So the things I pretty much learned from that interview was, make sure that you focus on technical questions too. So I think I spend a lot of time looking at behavioral interview questions because of the type of company that I was going to apply for, that I was interviewing for as well, that I focused more on behavioral interview questions, and it should have been a healthy balance of both. And then I should have also been using that time to learn. And so a lot of the questions I was asked dealt with OOP, object-oriented programming, for those who don't know. And so I was not very good at that. So a lot of the concepts and things like that I've heard before. They've asked them in interviews before, and I didn't know them then, and I didn't know them at that point in the interview. So one thing I've learned is to just make sure that you keep learning and you focus on questions surrounding either the language or the concept or whatever it is that you're going to be interviewing for. So if you know that they're an agile place and they're really big on that concept, make sure you have points that you are taking with you to the interview, so that you have talk points and things that you know about. So what I've done on my Twitter is I went through and listed out some object-oriented programming concepts, and I forget how many I did in total, but these are the ones that I've heard over and over again in interviews. These are the ones that I've seen around the internet and stuff like that. So I figured, why not go ahead and put these out there into the atmosphere so other people could take advantage of those. So if you hop on my Twitter, the link is always in the description below. If you go on over there, you will see all the object-oriented programming concepts that I had learned. And so, so those are concepts that I kind of go back to and read up on and learn more about. And especially if you have an interview coming up surrounding object-oriented programming, you definitely want to take a look at those tips. So like I said, it wasn't a good result, but it was definitely something to be learned out of it, and was not a wasted process to go through. So thank you all for watching. Hopefully it was helpful. Hopefully it will prepare you for your next interview, and I will see you in the next one.